This changes everything for the Toronto Blue Jays as we have multiple huge updates surrounding two particular players. And one of these updates not only is crucial, but changes the landscape of this team in the coming months as the playoffs inch closer and closer. To write that down, as well as discuss some big other updates surrounding George Springer and some notable stats and comments from one player on the Blue Jays that has fans fired up. A ton to go over today, folks. Before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage or aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys have been absolute beasts with the support. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. And thank you guys again for your continued support over here, folks. A lot to go over today. Jays are coming off of back-to-back series losses for the first time since May. Things are a little bit disappointing right now, but they are about to go into Colorado and hopefully, work towards a sweep. We have a little bit of updates surrounding that series as well ahead of it tonight. But I want to dive into some big piece of news that dropped yesterday into, this morning, and how things really, rely on a couple of different players here down the stretch, because the Jays desperately need some more offense, but they also are going to need some reinforcements to the starting pitching staff. And Shane Bieber had an electric start yesterday for the Buffalo Bisons. But it's not only this, we have some updates from Arden Zwelling surrounding what Shane Bieber said after the game that's most important. But in yesterday's game, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts in against the Buffalo Bisons. And he is inching closer and closer now, and this changes a lot for this Toronto Blue Jays team. The pivotal point of this trade deadline was the Shane Bieber trade. If he ends up being a Cy Young caliber player, like he literally won a Cy Young before, he is going to be huge down the stretch and huge in the playoffs. And quite frankly, this was a massive rehab start for him. Not only does he look really, really good, but his velo was up. You can see here, again, 5 innings, 5 hits. His velo was up to 94.4. His slider was dominant. Damage came in a second inning single and a third inning solo shot. I'm not worried about the numbers right now in the stat lines, which, by the stat lines, I mean, of course, I'm worried about the velo number, but not the stat line numbers. 2 earned runs. It is what it is. 62 pitches, which is, pretty interesting. Velo up to 94.4. This is like pre-injury, of course, Shane Bieber. Arguably a little bit higher than pre-injury Shane Bieber. He was never a velo guy, but man, oh man, is this exciting and changes a lot here, because not only was it a healthy start, which is the most important thing, his velo is really, really good. His spin rates are really, really good. And you can see here from Damon, Shane Bieber is hitting 94 to 95 miles per hour on the gun with his heater for the first time since 2020. I could not care less what a stat line is. That is unbelievably encouraging. And his spin is way up, which is very important, because a lot of people were talking about how, Shane Bieber won the Cy Young because of the sticky stuff before the sticky stuff got banned. His spin is way up without the sticky stuff. Obviously, I am fully confident in him. He was not a sticky stuff, pitcher. At least I don't think he may have used sticky stuff, but he's not made because of sticky stuff. He's an unbelievable player with or without the rosin. It is truly, I'm extremely encouraged by this. And Shane Bieber came out afterwards and said he felt great during Sunday's outing after a whirlwind of a 72 to 100 hours. He sat 93 with his fastball and touched 94 6 times, held his velocity and pitch action throughout. Just massive news overall, right? And you can look at the stat line. You can actually look at the game. The most important thing, if you're into the advanced analytics stuff, his spin was high. If you're into the more, normal stuff, his velocity was really, really good, like levels we haven't seen since 2020. If you're into, him saying he feels great, he feels great. We assume now there's going to be one more rehab start prior to, of course, Shane Bieber returning to the Blue Jays. We could see him as early as, next week, maybe. I would assume a week or two until he makes his, assuming 5 days rest, he makes one more start for the Bison. So maybe 10 days till his next start, or his first start rather, with the Jays. And I cannot wait to see what this guy does in Rogers Center. The place will be electric. David Price vibes. He won the Cy Young in 2020. That was the last time his, velocity was that high. Next year, fantastic. Year after, fantastic. He's always been a fantastic pitcher. His worst year of his career was his rookie season. Even that wasn't too bad. Folks, he's only 30 years old. Like, he's in his prime, entering his prime, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, his prime was probably, 26, whatever. He doesn't rely on high velocity fastball. He's going to age really well. And the Jays may have just pulled off, again, I don't want to get ahead of myself, even though I am. If he can work down the stretch and they get an extension done, which is something that if you saw my video yesterday, Ross Atkins said he wants to do, is get an extension done if things go well. I am pumped to see how this does, and ultimately, or how this guy does, and ultimately, it changes everything for not only the Jays this year, not only the Jays heading into the playoffs, but next season and years beyond, getting a front line starter. But folks, let's dive into a few other updates. Let me know if you're excited, if you think it changes everything as well, and kind of what your thoughts are on that. Want to dive into a few different, updates here. So the Jays made a couple more moves yesterday. Alejandro Kirk returned from the concussion IL. Leo Jimenez was optioned to AAA. And also, something to note here is that Ali Sanchez is out of options, meaning he can't be sent down without passing through waivers first. The Blue Jays can't risk losing him with any uncertainty around Heineman, who did not have concussion symptoms yesterday, manager John Schneider said. And yesterday being the day before, because this tweet was from last night before the game. So they obviously made, or yesterday afternoon before the game, rather. They made some moves here. And the most important one out of this is, obviously Alejandro Kirk is back, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do ahead of this series, because George Springer is going to be nearing a return. And if they get rid of Ali Sanchez, he has to clear through waivers. It's going to be big to see if, Heineman goes in the IL and they keep Sanchez when Springer comes back, or what they're going to do, regarding all of that, because George Springer is inching closer and closer. Now, luckily, or I guess not luckily, but unfortunately, he's probably not coming back tonight. We're looking at, I believe, Tuesday would be the ideal spot, according to John Schneider, for, of course, him to return. And that's obviously going to be a pretty, hefty return. Because you look at George Springer heading into, July 28th, before he hit in the head, a 1,000, 1,100 OPS. He's literally the Jays' best offensive player. He's one of the best, offensive players in baseball. And you look back at the stretch they had, a bad series against Baltimore, bad series against Kansas City, and how they're not great teams, and people talking about the sky falling down. They were missing their catcher, Alejandro Kirk, who not only is great offensively, but really he was missed behind a home plate catching for all these pitchers. We saw the difference it made yesterday with Chris Bassett and things like that. And yeah, the bullpen blew up. It was his first time catching Sir Anthony Dominguez. It is what it is. Louis Verland as well, first time catching him, a little bit unlucky. It is what it is, right? George Springer coming back is going to change the outlook of this offense. And maybe we see George Springer hit leadoff again. Maybe they get rid of the platoon between Lucas and Clement, with both of them struggling. All I know is that they need to get these guys back as soon as humanly possible, because at the end of the day, give me George Springer. Yes, Shane Bieber is going to be encouraging and all these different things we can talk about. The most important thing in the immediate future for this team is getting George Springer back. And we saw on August 2nd, a couple days ago, just a quick note here, because I didn't talk about it as much earlier yesterday. Springer is still feeling better. He hit batting practice a couple days ago. Best case, he comes back Tuesday in Colorado. So tomorrow is the estimated time for a George Springer return. And as much as the Jays have struggled, all these different things, the sky is not falling down, contrary to a lot of fans' belief. You have a potential Cy Young, caliber pitcher coming in here soon. You have Alek Manoah working back. And again, losing sucks. I want to go over this, but at the end of the day, you're going to the Rockies, right? So you go mop the Rockies, get the bats going. Off days Thursday and Monday. Get Springer back. Add Bieber. True test is coming. Dodgers and Cubs, we're good. 3 games up on the Red Sox. You have the tiebreaker on both the Red Sox and the Yankees. But folks, take care of business against the Rockies. Just win the series. Obviously, you'd like to sweep, but you don't have to sweep. Just win the series. Win 2 out of 3. Get back on track. You're heading into a brutal series against the Dodgers. They have a lot of elite pitchers. You're going to see Snell. You're going to see Yamamoto. You're going to see a lot of guys here. You're going to miss Blake. You're going to miss Tyler Glasnow and Shohei Ohtani, luckily. But we're going to see a Kershaw, lining up to be at least a Kershaw-Scherzer game 1 against the Dodgers. So it's going to be interesting. That'll be on Friday. But folks, let me know down below what your thoughts are. A big series against the Rockies. George Springer inching closer to a return. We should see it tomorrow. And hopefully as well, like a side note here, Dalton Varsho gets his hitting back. He's been struggling a little bit since returning. A lot of things are moving. The Jays are good. Got to continue to win some ball games, and hopefully that can get started tonight at a late, start this evening. I believe 8:40 p.m. Eastern. So let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are beasts. See you later tonight.